Three things about me. I love traveling, I love jewelry, and I love lists. I love checking something off a list. I love a challenge, I love a task, I love accomplishing something. I'm starting a new adventure that combines all three of these things, and I'm very excited about it. Ever since I was a kid, I've loved jewelry. It goes back to my mom collecting vintage jewelry and vintage jewelry boxes, and sitting at the kitchen table with her, rifling through jewelry boxes and looking at all of the costume jewelry and all of the beautiful things that they used to make. When I was a kindergartner, I showed up to school with the most enormous clip-on earrings you could ever imagine on a child, totally ready for class. Like, I was always bedazzled. My grandmother on my father's side is a jewelry artist, and I grew up in her studio with her, making very, very much more simple and less intricate jewelry than what she was doing, but I would always be beading a bracelet or a necklace or creating some kind of jewelry with her. She would teach me how to make different things every time I would go visit her, and then meanwhile she'd be like over on her side welding and doing crazy things. Ever since I was a kid, I've loved jewelry. And as a traveler, I am not a keychain person. I don't want an ornament. I don't want a sticker. I don't want a magnet. I don't want any of that stuff. I've always done, as I've traveled, is picked up a piece of jewelry and also a copy of The Great Gatsby from everywhere that I've traveled, and built up my own little collection of jewelry from all of the countries, and not quite all of the cities, but at least all of the countries that I visited. So this summer, I was looking to repair a pair of earrings that I had purchased in France. Unfortunately, I packaged them so nicely during my travels, but they had glass beads on them, and one of them broke in travel, which made me very sad. But because my grandmother also raised me to be a jewelry artist, I knew I could fix it, and I just needed another bead, so I asked my mom if I could look through some of her older jewelry to see if I could find a bead that would match, because she has a collection of just like broken jewelry. Don't ask me why, but I was like, let me look through the broken jewelry and see if there's anything I can steal to fix these earrings. As I was doing that, she told me about a jewelry box that she had just gotten from an estate sale or a garage sale, some kind of sale of some kind, that the jewelry wasn't broken, but she told me I could look through it, and if there was anything I wanted, I could take it. As soon as I opened up this jewelry box, you guys, I felt just like a kinship with this woman, this previous owner. I have no idea who she actually was. I do not know her name, but what I'm telling you is this woman is me. Like, this woman, I will be this woman someday. And not to sound morbid, but her jewelry box is a representation of the life that she lived. And I very much assume that that will be the case with my jewelry box one day too. This woman was a traveler, and so much of what I can tell from her life, from her jewelry box, I just felt related to. It was this weird feeling of kinship looking through her jewelry box. This is how this went down. I opened up the jewelry box, and the first thing that I saw was this, and I was immediately drawn to it because it's so beautiful. And as I was looking at it, I realized that there was a word at the bottom. You can't really tell. I looked up this word, and it turns out it is a city in France that is known for porcelain and their porcelain jewelry, and this came from that city in France. So my first thought is, of course I gravitate to the item that's from France in this entire jewelry box. But it was not the only item from France in this jewelry box. The woman had countless pieces of jewelry from France and other countries all across the world. This woman was a well-traveled woman, and she picked up pieces of jewelry from everywhere she went. And some of them are so beautiful. Not only was there a plethora of jewelry from France, which obviously has a place in my heart, there is a very interesting set of pins. I literally can't believe this. Okay, it's one thing for her to have jewelry from France, from all over Europe, and then of course, like, Germany has a special place in my heart. She has a couple of things from Germany, there's stuff from Mexico, and everything is like labeled super nicely as well. Like, she put the city that she purchased everything in, like, she marked everything. I gotta do that with my collection because it was so fun looking through her stuff and seeing where it was from. Not only does she have things from places all over the world, but then in particular countries that I've traveled to or have some kind of special meaning in my heart, this woman has 2 Olympic pins. She went to the Olympics. I don't know who she was, but I feel so connected to her through her jewelry box. She also had this tennis pin, and as someone who was like ecstatic to see tennis at the Olympics, I don't know if these like belonged together, if she wore them at the Olympics, but I love this. In addition to this jewelry from all over the world, she also has jewelry that was not labeled from any particular place, but has kind of a general floral vibe to it. She liked flowers, I can tell by looking at the stuff that she has in here. Lots of pearls and lots of flower earrings. A woman after my own heart. In my head, I've been calling her Rose purely because I don't actually know what her name is, and she has so much floral jewelry in her collection. As I was looking through her jewelry and seeing all of these crazy places that she had gone to, I was looking up these cities and being like, oh my gosh, I want to go here someday. Like, this is so cool. I want to travel to this place. I want to do this adventure myself. And I thought, okay, well, why don't I? And why don't I bring Rose's jewelry with me? And I can bring the jewelry back to the place that she got it in and wear it in that place in memory of this woman who I don't know, but again, feel this kinship too. So I have mapped out everywhere that she went according to her jewelry box, and probably over the course of my entire life, I will be tracking down those places. This is not something I'm going to accomplish in a year or 2 years or probably even 5 years. This is going to be a long-term project that I'm going to be embarking on, but anytime I travel, I am bringing a piece of her jewelry with me. I will specifically be trying to get to the places that are labeled, but recently I've traveled to a few places and I've brought some of the unlabeled or unmarked jewelry with me that I don't know where she got it from, but I'm taking her with me on my adventures anyway. And Rose and I have already been off to a great start because she got to join me in New York for my Broadway weekend. She also got to see the Eras Tour, and not just any show of the Eras Tour, but the very last night of the Eras Tour. And Rose also got to cross the Capilano Suspension Bridge with me. She is a brave, adventurous woman. What can I say? I wish I knew more about her. I really feel like there is a story that can be told in art of all kind, and jewelry very much is its own art. And I've been reflecting a lot on, like, one day my jewelry box is going to look very similar to this too, but it's just going to have pieces from different places. And I would like to visit some of the places that Rose's jewelry is from. I think part of it for me, aside from the crazy coincidences of the jewelry that's actually in the jewelry box, is something that's a little deeper, and just thinking about the women that have come before me in this world. Again, I don't know anything about Rose and who she was and what kind of life she lived, but I know that it was abnormal for a woman to do the kind of traveling that she was doing based on the pieces that she had in her jewelry box alone. And I don't know that she was embarking on these travels by herself or if she was going in a group, but it reminds me of one of my great-grandmothers who traveled quite frequently and quite unusually for a woman during her time. And I remember growing up as a kid hearing from my dad and from my aunt and uncle about how this woman would go on these adventures and she'd come back with these interesting little gifts from them in the places that she went, and she was just an adventurous spirit. And I remember admiring that as a kid and thinking how cool that was. I think I have always sought to embody a similar spirit of adventure and mystery and independence and exploration, and I feel a similar energy in looking at this jewelry box, and I have so much admiration for the women who did this before me. I think looking through her jewelry box has reminded me of the kind of woman that I want to be, as ridiculous as that might sound in just looking at someone's jewelry box. All of these pieces represent a woman who was probably beyond her time in terms of the travel and adventures that she was doing, and she had excellent taste. And I think looking at that reminds me of the women in my own ancestral line, and again, the woman that I want to be and aspire to be and have maybe in a way already become somehow, and that has led to this feeling of connection. So I am looking forward to traveling more with Rose. I will definitely be pulling this together in some kind of fashion. I've been trying to take a little video and a little photo with her jewelry everywhere that I've gone, and I'll probably pull that together in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. This is still developing, but I just wanted to share that I will be embarking on a new project, and I will probably be sharing some of that here. Signing out until another adventure with Rose. I'll talk to you later. Bye.